All right, we got about a half hour. We got about a half hour of waiting, and then we're gonna get to the Gajeel fight. Again, I don't really understand the want for Gajeel to lose. If this was, say, one of the Dark Dragon Slayer Knights, again, I would agree. I think it doesn't really make a lot of sense to do it with God Serena because it doesn't build onto the really like the antagonist hype and threat when it's somebody we know that isn't that much of a big deal. It would be like if you laid out a bunch of the Spriggan 12 all in one arc, and it's like the one that I want to win and look really cool is going to be God Serena, but the others are going to, the others are not going to be as much kind of moving around. But at the same time, it'd be like, while doing it with Irene August and Larcade still up, it's like we know that this character is cool. God Serena is neat so far, but he's not somebody that needs to have that like, oh yeah, he's stronger than I thought kind of thing. It doesn't really do anything when we know that one, he's not the big boss of the arc. There are stronger people already here, and on top of that, like there's only a couple people even in the protagonist side of things that are going to really struggle against him. Like not Natsu and Laxus would be just fine. Urza would probably be just fine. Gray would have some difficulty. I think with Gajeel just doesn't have a lot of abilities. I think that's one of the hard things with Gajeel. It's somewhat of a concern with Laxus, but Laxus has the red lightning, so and Fairloff he really needed to. But he's got other options, whereas like besides Iron Shadow Dragon mode having the ability to go intangible, Gajeel really doesn't have much in terms of like putting in the fight, and that's one thing where it's like he just doesn't have a lot to work with. Where it's like, oh, you put Wendy in a fight, despite Wendy's general kind of stats and feats, you have all of her enchantment abilities for both offensive and defensive, and how it can affect the enemy. You have like all of Natsu's crazy feats and his ability to like burn abilities and whatnot. You just get way more. Like obviously, look how many abilities Lucy has. God just doesn't have much. I'm hoping he just gets like what I would really want is Gajeel to get some equivalent to Fire Dragon King mode, and then to have his abilities upgrade in a really cool way. Like, what if he his arm, instead of it being like the club, it's like, one, he could be like, it could just be like a straight upgrade, like a Kanabo, be really cool like that. Or it could be a cannon. And what if it's like he's able to, because of the way that metal dragons work, maybe he's able to like mess with the minerals in the ground, pulls up like coal, and then like absorbs it and uses it for firepower or something, or gets gunpowder. I don't know. Does some really neat trick with that, or just straight shoots magic or iron, or it could legit just straight have a metal slug like a railgun type thing and shoot. Like Gajeel has stuff that's very easy and potential to do, but we just haven't gotten anything for him. Like I had this very old hope idea that he would essentially, and like how, remember, he used to hang upside down by having like the metal spikes come out of his feet. Like, what if he made his feet kind of like tank tracks? Because he doesn't need like the actual mechanisms to move and like keep on track. He just manipulates his feet to transform and kind of be tank tracks. He could kind of move without moving, kind of like what's his name, the Crawler does in the My Hero spinoff, and that'd be cool. Who's my daddy? I guess my actual dad. I don't know where he is at right now. He's probably sleeping. You're a big fan of Officer. I appreciate it. Where's my Black Diamond Knuckles at? I don't even know what that means. Hello, Rax. Hope your GF's recovering well. She's doing good. She seems to be back on track. I'd have thought, imagine if Masaki would get up, find Dogercore, Urza find her, and Masaki would example eat a Dogercore and she would turn into a dragon. Eating the Dogercore, it's a very interesting concept because obviously it should have dragon abilities rather in general in connection, but she shouldn't need that to turn into a dragon. She should just have dragon force. But Masaki getting up, I mean, I'm for it. Though I will say, if I had to pick one of them to get up, I'd pick Scullion over Masaki because, I mean, Urza already had a neat fight. We don't need Urza to have another one. Gray in that Scullion fight, I think, would be more valuable. Unless Mishima actually wanted to do something with Masaki. Like, if the Masaki first round was planned, then he's like, okay, the second round is really where I'm going to show her character and her abilities and make her more interesting. Then I'd say okay. But at least as of right now, like Machine, like I just don't want to see her again unless Machine wants to do anything with it. Because like I liked Misaki. I thought she was really interesting design. Powers are cool. And it just didn't seem to really do much with her. It was really weird. It was like he had her planned, and then it was like he scrapped it for something else. And he's like, I'll just kind of make her Minerva-esque, and then we'll see if I want to do anything with her. What, Gajeel? Oh, the black diamond knuckles? Well, I don't think it's going to be something like that. Because like the diamonds, I don't know if he'll be able to eat the diamonds. I feel like it's going to just have something like a core upgrade. Because I want Gajeel to get something like Dragon Force at will with a Viernes. I think it'll make more sense. Because my hopes are this is like the Mimi fight for Lucy, and the next Gajeel fight will be like his Kyria fight, where it's just a big spotlight focus, really big step forward upgrades, looking good, showing off your worth, and just really pulling your weight. I think Gajeel's gonna win and be able to get the Dogre core, but I really want a time where it's just Gajeel just be like just having the spotlight, getting to be the one to kind of really come in clutch. Because like the only thing we really gotten is what we had the part with Alderaan, but like that was more support and cool, but it wasn't like as major as like I would really have hoped. And Lucy's fights with Mimi and Kyria weren't major in what's going on, but they were major for the characters. And on top of that, they were really good fights. I really liked both of those. Yeah, like Masaki's eyes. Yeah, she's neat. Like she's neat in design, her powers and stuff. It's just that we didn't really get anything about her character. We only really got like the surface stuff, and we never got really any insight into her thoughts, into her backstory, into like her standing in the guild, what she thinks about Selene and stuff. It's like we just gotta wait to see if Mishima like had her actually planned out for a character later, or if she was just somebody who was like an enemy for now, and like maybe he doesn't really want to do anything with her. Because that's something you always got to consider, is like some of those characters might just be like powerful and part of the group, and not be people with like the bigger character plans, as as unfortunate as it is. I mean 3 out of 4 is pretty good. I liked all the other Dragon Slayer Knight or Dark Dragon Slayer Knights. Misaki's the only one right now where I'm kind of because it's like we just don't really have anything at all on her. It's not even like, oh yeah, I just didn't like her. It's like we just didn't really anything. Because like I liked Nibaru. I thought he was neat. I liked that he was on forehead on point for the mission. I like pretty much everybody else in Diablos. I don't dislike Misaki, but she's still like, it's still like she's on the bench for me. Like I just haven't really had enough content for me to really form like a good opinion of her. Black diamonds are harder than colorless ones. Is that true? I didn't know that. How does that work? Does it just have to do with density? I mean, if that's true, that makes a lot of, that can make a lot of sense for Gajeel. But it's like, if Gajeel, here's what I want to say. If Gajeel gets something like that, make it very clear that it's permanent. Have something like, oh, this is something I learned over the last year. It's not that good. It's not the greatest ability, but it's something that can be handy. And Gajeel can turn into the variations of metals he's eaten before. Like, not the same, obviously the same way as like, say like, oh, Natsu's like mixing the fires, but it's like, oh yeah, Gajeel's thing is, he can pretty much mineral swap. And then he can kind of like switch around. Like, say he turns, bam, here comes the lightning attack from Godsphere, and then he ends up turning into, I think gold is gold is a superconductor, right? I don't know, a metal that is very, very resistant to electricity. I'm pretty sure gold is a superconductor, right? I don't know off the top of my head. I just know it's either like one that's really resistant, or if it's like one that's perfect. It's like either or. I can't remember. I think it is. But something like that, where it's just like made to counter, and then have him set up like something, getting a upgraded form that we know he's gonna keep. Because the problem with Gajeel's forms is a lot of we don't see him keeping them. He didn't keep a Steel Dragon. He didn't keep Dragon Force. He didn't keep the Giant Magic. I would love it if he ended up just like, talking to Makarov after the Alderaan part. It's like, I want to learn how to do this. And like, he doesn't have to learn it as like a level of complexity as Brandish or anything. But I think just like enlarging your arms would be easy enough for him. And it would be a really cool upgrade. I would love to have something like that where he learns something that's simple outside of Dragon Slaying magic, just to have a general buff on his Dragon Slaying magic. Because like him versus like all the other Dragon Slayers, his element is directly fit. Well, unless you want to count unless you want to count Suzaku because it's a sword, but you know what I mean. But it's Gajeel's is a physical material. It's a physical thing. He can, and it's similar to how like when we saw he wrecked the Fairy Tail Guild. He left those iron poles. He can create the matter and leave it somewhere. I assume it's still magic based and it's not going to exist forever, but the idea that oh crap, hang on, where was I going with my train of thought? No Mercury powers. Mercury would be cool, but what was I saying? Because I was talking about Gajeel. Gajeel's abilities. It was like Natsu making his hand bigger would be cool, but it's like his fist would get bigger, but like I don't think the fire getting bigger would be as beneficial to say something like Gajeel's metal arm or something getting bigger, because the weight is going to just be a lot different in like the impact of a fireclad fist versus a solid steel fist, pretty much, or iron or whatever material Gajeel would have it at the time. Saki's cool magic's like to see more of a character. Yeah, I like her magic. It's neat. It's probably my least. Well, Kieran's is cool. I want to see more of Kieran's because it's like it ultimately became a type of lightning dragon, but it's clear that it branches out and has stuff to do with the atmosphere. So what exactly Mishima has? Like if he has planned, if he wants to do stuff with that again, like are we gonna get anything with Kieran again to show that? I think so. I'm still really hoping that we're gonna get the. Oh, I didn't even tweet out the stream. Let me do that real fast. I'm really hoping still we're gonna get a team up with Diablos joining up with Fairy Tail and having a match against like Dragon Dograbag. Hang on a second. 1 second. Somebody. Alright. Post this stream out and we'll start gearing up. We got 15 more minutes, about halfway waiting and from the start of the stream for the chapter. Let me see, I was gonna say don't let us down, Gajeel. I can leave the that's pretty perfect for the tweet. Okay. All right. So let me get more of the comments. It's crazy the fact that Natsu Saku versus Dograbag has been going on off screen for 7 chapters. I mean, it's just in the background, just having some moves. I'm really hoping that once we get all these cores down, we're just gonna see Dograbag is gonna get. He's gonna have to be like, yeah, I gotta actually do shit now. And he's going to be like, well, I'll fight you guys at my normal strength, but my Dragon God strength should still be enough. And then we just have characters showing up to help fight against the Dograbag in his dragon form. As I don't expect Dograbag to live through this arc. If he does, as long as it's done in a good way, I'm fine with it because he's cool. But as of right now, I just want his character to have a really good showing. And if he does die, to pretty much, again, just be a cool character. That's all I'm really asking for him. Playing Classic Wrathful of Ching, I'm probably going to. I haven't started yet, but I'm thinking about it. I have the next 2 days or so off, so I might do a little bit tonight. The thing I gotta do is I gotta see if my brother's gonna play and if my fiance's gonna play, because I don't want to get ahead leveling without them. And leveling fresh is neat, but obviously like it's a different story if you're playing with another person. It makes it a lot better and a lot easier. So we'll see. I'm probably going to play it, though. I'd say more often than not, I'm going to. And I was like, there's stuff I want to do, but I'm considering trying to do my, trying to like build up my guild, because I made a guild for Shadowlands, and then Shadowlands tanked, and so Dragonflight looks good so far, so I want to get my, I'm looking to try and get my guild set up for Dragonflight, and Wrath of the Lich King Classic would be a really good opportunity to just get some active players, and seeing after this playthrough goes, or this the the playing of classic Wrath gets to the point where they can eventually go to retail and join the guild and stuff, and do stuff for Dragonflight. We'll see though. Seeing Cobra 100 Years Quest, maybe. I'd like to see him. Better if Kieran Laxus didn't show up during Mag Fight. Electric's weak to ground. I mean, they can still damage. Like, Laxus fought Jura. Like, lightning can still damage ground. This isn't Pokemon. Also, just really quick, we got 16 people, 4 likes. I'd really appreciate if you guys would thumbs up the stream from the like button, subscribe button. Subscribe if you enjoy my content. Like the stream if it's entertaining. If I feel like I've entertained you, if you feel like I've entertained you enough, if you feel like donating anything, all donations are appreciated. They're not required. But I do have a join button now, and there's only a $1 and $2 tier, cheap, barely, like not even enough to really get a McChicken. Well, I guess because McChicken's over $2 now. Can't even get a McChicken for that for like a whole month. And we are going to be doing more video game streams. I'm going to be doing early access for some videos for members, and we are going to be having additional streams for them. And all it is, like I said, $1 to $2 a month, entirely optional. You don't have to. The plan is it's just going to be bonus stuff. Like my normal Fairy Tail stuff, and hopefully if I can get back to Chainsaw Man and then this Gachi Akuta series, I can get those for the channel and keep that up. And then it'll be kind of additional stuff after that. Maybe like the additional series besides Fairy Tail will be like a member thing, and I can kind of keep it like that. I think that would be pretty fine. That way I can keep the majority of the channel pretty contained towards like the main topic. Orga's one of the most wasted potentials in the show. Yeah, Orga's really weird. Because Orga's the only member of Sabretooth that I would say actually got like a bad treatment. He didn't even get a backstory. He didn't get a flashback. He didn't get any like real part where he was the focus. The only part he really had is when he beat Warcry, and then it's like after that he gets 3rd place in the Magical Power Finder, and then gets one shot by Jura, and is never really done it with anything again. That's why I say like Godslayers. Like if you have a Godslayer title, your days are numbered. Mishima just doesn't seem to fuck with Godslayers too much. I don't know what it is. Doom is a legendary game. I've only played some of the older Dooms. I haven't played any of the new ones. If it goes well, I'd be fine playing through Doom on the channel for like the members and stuff. But like I said, what I want to do for the member stuff is like all the games and additional just kind of fun little extra stuff, for a couple dollars a month, just to kind of keep people entertained in between the videos and waiting for chapters. So I think with 100 Years Quest, it probably is going to help with 2 weeks. And apparently, one of the people in the 100 Years Quest team got COVID, and they said that at some we don't know when, but there's a chance that like one of the chapter weeks it'll be on break, which would mean that at some point there's just going to be a month with no 100 Years Quest, which is going to suck. Like that's going to be painful if that happens. Maybe they'll be able to power through it, because I know they said that pretty much everybody on their team is working from remotely from home, but it's one of the things we can't really know about until it arrives. If it happens, then it happens. If it never happens, then great. Pokemon Right, Jura as ground type defeat. Wait, no, you're messing that up. Jura's a ground type. Defeat Laxus, who is electric type. Only thing is, like, lightning can still mess with the ground. It's just Pokemon mechanics that say no. Like, lightning is still energy. It's still plasma. You put, like, a thing of the ground in front of it, lightning can still, like, hit it and, like, melt wherever it struck. Like, plus, lightning is, like, a low level... Not lowish, but... It's like, I guess kind of low, just because it's pretty common for a durability negating hacks, just because of the way that electricity travels, and electricity always has that potential to just kill you by like messing with your heart. It's kind of like how like fire and ice have degrees of hacks to them, but it's not the same thing as like it'd be like low tier, just of like, oh yeah, heat radiation, and then like with ice it'd just be like energy negation. That's pretty much like where those kind of sit, like just general, pretty standard hacks, but obviously it's still something. How to Train Your Dragon is a 10 out of 10 children's movie. I really like those movies. I think they're pretty fun. I'm surprised they haven't made like 10 more of them and milked the series to death. Fairy Tales Weekly. Worst thing is when they're both super bored to have a break in the whole month without new content. The thing is with 100 Years Quest though is like the vibe of how 100 Years Quest. I'm trying to think how to like word this. The vibe of the chapters and the tone and the pacing fits well for the 2-week period. That I think if we did have just a 1 chapter break and we had to wait a month, it would suck. It wouldn't feel as bad because the thing about Super and Boruto is they're monthly series, but they're still drawn and like written in like a weekly style. Whereas like with 100 Years Quest, there's not a lot of the, not filler, but there's not a lot of that kind of just extras in like chapters, where it's like, this is okay, I have like, say it's like, oh yeah, I have 13 pages right now of what I wanted to do. I still need to do 3 to 4 pages to meet the count. And so there's like just some parts that are just there for like existence of adding a little bit of scene, or if you want to just kind of add some extra details into a part. But for the most part, it's just kind of like at that set. Whereas Super and Boruto, it's just like, it feels like you're reading it weekly, but you have to wait a month. So it's just, the pacing feels off. Whereas like the 100 Years Quest, I think it'll still be a little rough, but once you go and I fumbled over my words really bad right there. The difference is like you could go from Super and Boruto, a month wait, like a month break, towards obviously way longer than normally you wait. You get to the next chapter, it might be just as boring and slow paced and kind of feels weird. Whereas 100 Years Quest, generally you're going to be getting progression of plot and events in the following chapter. It's not going to be this. It just doesn't have the same kind of tone and like setup to it. Depending on the events, obviously the context, it's like if you're at the very start of an arc or something, or if you just finished like a big fight, then the following chapters are probably going to be a bit slow and kind of setup-ish. But things are going to be moving at a better pace. And there's nobody that's going to tell me that they've been reading like if you've read Boruto, Super, and 100 Years Quest all since day one going, and tell me that 100 Years Quest doesn't have the way better pacing for like the time trade out, you're crazy. Super and Boruto, because like Boruto's manga is fine for the most part. The anime has so much filler that it makes it a little boring. Fairly boring. But the manga keeps things pretty well cut. The problem is it's slow as fuck. Same thing with Super. Super is relatively fine in the manga. Like if Super was going right now and there was no manga and it was just the anime, I'd watch it. Like I'm fine with right now whichever one's continuing the story. But it's like right now it's fine. It's just so fucking slow. A lot of them, they've been fighting gas for like a year. And it's been the same thing. They throw a couple punches. Gas makes like a weapon out of energy where it's like a fucking fly trap or a couch. And then they continue the fight, and Goku and Vegeta, like one of them's recovering. One of them makes a statement about their forms. It's like, it's been like so boring. It's just, but it's like part of it is like, I don't think that if you just read those chapters all in bulk, or watched the episodes, or if like you just changed reality, chopped all those chapters up into 4 and gave them all out in weekly bits, I think it would be way better. Like imagine it's like, oh yeah, you just have a fight with like some turnaround in this week. The next week you have some information about one of the forms, some build up, some setup and stuff. And it's like it just is a different vibe versus like, yeah, I've been waiting 8 months to watch them beat this random character that I don't care about, who does attacks that look like it's from before Raditz ever showed up. Some like old style fighting with just like giant. The fucking energy was. It just looks weird once you're this high end. Like I wish it was like, oh yeah, this knife I'm gonna use is made of X metal that's from the heart of a dwarf star or something. Something just to make it cooler. But it's like, no, he's just kind of ass. Yeah, Gas was ass. Sarada should have longer hair and no glasses. I like the glasses. Because I like the idea if she has weaker eyes, but it's like when she uses her Sharingan, like that's out of it. Like she just goes from 2050 to 2020. But what if? Because there's also the fact, like, you could do the thing with her where she eventually gets the perfect eyes, and then she doesn't need the glasses anymore. I think that'd be cool. Or if it's like, what if they achieve through science a way for them to access this level of Sharingan through a different means, like where you can achieve it through X, Y, or Z plus surgery because of modern medicine and technology, and she's able to do it. Kind of like how Vegeta achieved Super Saiyan 4, but way less like weird ray beam and way more of kind of like fiction times medical science and stuff. How would you rate the current arc on Urge Quest? Right now, I'd probably put it like at 8.5, just because like we just need like the full kind of end game, not end game. We need the kind of like pull out, because like one thing right now is like the Gray fight was cool, but it wasn't amazing. It was just it was enjoyable, and I think it was just more set up for Gray. Whereas I think the Gajeel fight's gonna be hype. The Lucy fight was really hype. Natsu and Suzaku was really hype. Ignia versus Selene. Actually, I'll probably bump it up to around a 9. Between an 8.5 and a 9, because there has been a lot of really cool stuff. I think the thing right now that kind of holds it down are things like Misaki not really getting much to her character, Scullion and Madmal not getting anything. Because like Kiria's been taking L's all 100 Years Quest, but she's been enjoyable every time she does stuff. So Scullion and Madmal taking an L, who cares? I just want to see them get up and participate. I'm hoping maybe later, like once we get to like the big Dragon Dogremag fight, we'll see. That's still a big maybe. Probably not. We'll see. Maybe once they team up and Fairy Tail and Sabretooth and Diablos become allies, we'll have something Scullion and Gray. I don't know. Either way, it's just going to be a waiting game with them. So yeah, I'd say between 8.5 and a 9 out of 10, because I really like a lot of the stuff that's been going on. There's just been a couple things that have been kind of weighing it down. But I think if Gajeel's fight goes really well, the Dogremag fight goes really well, and we get some cool stuff with Ignia and like maybe some lore stuff, like the level of stuff we could get from the Dogremag fight has a lot of potential to put this arc up. If we can get some really good lore and really good character and panels and just general things, like the idea of Fairy Tail and Diablos teaming up, all of them versus Dragon Dogremag, and it's just this massive group battle, similar to like when they went to fight Acnologia on Sirius Island, but an actual fight where they can battle him, that has the potential to be a 10. I think that would be great, but we'll see. That's a maybe. It's on the table. There's going to be a bunch of Dragon Slayers in the arc. We have Wendy who can compensate for the people who can't use Dragon Slaying magic. We'll see. Off topic, still hoping for underrated fighters to shine. Mir and Jalal. Well, Jalal isn't underrated. Jalal is fine. Mira Jane, yes. Mira Jane, I would love it if Mira Jane would get some form of upgrade or some form of spotlight. Like, if she could combine... Like, she doesn't need to have any more souls if she can just start combining them. Or say she learns how to manipulate them with a magic where she can rewrite them or kind of like remess with them, like do or something just like soul magic where she can modify them rather, I guess. Like if she changed her Seatreed, instead of being a fire type demon, she made it into an ice type or something, and she could help Gray in a scenario or just have different elements. Anyway, so I'm going to start. The chapter should be out any second now. And we're going to be going through it before I get to the comments. I don't want to look at any potential spoilers. And then I will get to see what exactly has been going on, your guys' reactions, and what's going to go on in this chapter. So let's figure out what's going on. I gotta remember how to reverse the whole setup with the chapters so it shows the newest ones immediately first. Okay. So the first one, okay, I see a picture of already in the chapter, and I don't want to spoil it, but it spoiled a little bit of it for me. So the cover picture, it's actually really cool. It's like a vagabond Gajeel and a ninja Levy. Looks pretty sick. I like it a lot. It's one of them. Like, I prefer the ones that have something in the normal world where it's like, this actually probably happened, and there's like a lore bit to it. But I mean, this is really cool. This is one of those really cool what ifs that it really fits. Also, I'd really appreciate it. You know, we got, what, 27 people, 29 people in here, 11 likes. I really appreciate if you guys would hit that thumbs up button, get it up, and see how things are going. Okay, so we have Gajeel's is against the wall, still bloodied. Panther Lily is now here, showing up and talking to him. But what's Panther Lily going to do in this fight? Because the only thing Panther Lily can really do to contribute is if he gives Gajeel his sword to eat. What if Gajeel eats it? And hey, I'm going to do a theory real quick. Just a theory real fast. Gajeel eats it, and because of like how his dragon slaying ability works, and his experience with magic that's made him bigger before, he gains the ability to grow from the sword. And then it's like we get to find out, like, maybe the thing about metal dragons is they can gain the proper, like, certain abilities of weapons that they've consumed. Maybe something like that, or like sorry, not weapons, but material. Like if Gajeel ate a weapon, like say if Urza had a sword she didn't want, and it said, "Oh yeah, this one, it's not that good. It like gives me some super defense where I turn indestructible for 10 seconds, but I can't move or do anything." Gajeel eats it, and then he gains like that ability where, it, like, if he wants to, bam, 10 seconds of indestructibility, but he can't move. Something like that. I think that'd be really cool. But that's the only thing I really think Panther Lily can contribute to the fight. He can do something with Gajeel's motivation and something for him on a character level, but I don't really see what he could do on a combat level like himself. Gajeel obviously wants to keep fighting. Like, I'm glad he's not giving up. Really cool panel with his hair kind of like flailed out, you know, bloodied up. Did God Serena leave? So he's going to be trying to follow him and come after him. I didn't think God Serena would leave. I kind of give a little kudos to God Serena for that, though. I'm not going to lie. He didn't really stick around and waste his time. Oh, almost coughed, like right in the middle of that. He didn't really stick around and waste his time. He went back on mission. I got to give him respect for that. I always like it when characters are aware that they have something that they need to get done. And it's, you know, it's not, oh yeah, I'm just kind of like messing around. It's like, no, I got a mission. I got a job to do. So that's cool. So are we going to get back to that? Or are we going to have a different chapter right now? So it just shows the other characters destroying the cores. Oh, Pluvi even got it. Pixis got one. Hyped to that. Laxus just wiping them out, no problem. Oh, Kyria's here. Good. This is one thing I wanted. I expected Kyria to be chiller whenever she got back up. I think with the combination of Laxus being on the fairy tale side and her obviously have a thing for him, and then getting put in her place by Lucy, really kind of just like reality checked. This person isn't weak, like, you know, and you lost again, but against somebody that, like, her losing to Urza without, you know, Urza not falling under under a trick. Yeah, we get that. Losing to Laxus, yeah, we get that. There were a lot of people that obviously believed in Lucy, and a lot of people that didn't believe in Lucy going to that fight. So it was great to see, like, obviously her pull through that with a very nice win. But since then, and I've been saying it, I think that once we saw Kyria again, there would have to be like a level of getting humbled by her. Like there's no way that she's gonna be so petty and so stupid that she's just gonna ignore, oh yeah, I got beat from this person that I was completely talking down to and doing all this shit for. So now she's helping, which I like. So she crushes one. Oh, she gets praise from Laxus and she gets embarrassed. I like that. That's some nice bits. I've very much enjoyed just any time where she's had interactions with Laxus. I like that it shows a different side to her character. Okay, let's see what Celine's making some more portals, or maybe she can't make any more portals and they have to destroy the last couple without it. Okay, hold on. Okay. So, hang on, let me see. Because Celine makes portals and they disappear. My guess is that she can't, like, she's pretty much out of power right now and she needs a second to recharge. But we then get Gajeel is carried by Panther Lily, and they get outside of the labyrinth where Sai is with God Serena and Elefseri is there. Okay, Elefseri though is on the ground. It doesn't look like he's a traitor or anything, unless it's going to be revealed that he's the Gold Owl Guildmaster or something. Maybe that's going to be the secret, like, sus thing about him. Maybe he's going to be Viernes. I don't know. Whatever the reveal is, Elefseri, if he is sus in fact. I think that would make a lot of sense though if he had a guild like this, and he did have the potions and stuff on his belt, so he could be an alchemist, and he's old enough to be one. But it's like, is that going to be the villain that switch that we're gonna have with him? I did see the Fortnite chapter. I'm trying not to read the comments, but I did see that in the corner of my eye. So he turns into a shadow again. He goes and attacks. We have Panther Lily going for an attack. Gajeel just goes for like a general move. He hits him, but it doesn't look like it does damage. And then here we have another... Oh, it's just that cavern attack. The cavern dragon collapse that he used against the Wizard Saints. Oh, shit. This is not looking good. Okay, I gotta figure out how this is gonna go. Because Sai just used Love Bond on Gajeel, and Gajeel turned into Levi. So Gajeel's now really pissed off, and Gajeel takes care of that really fast. He makes solid script iron and pretty much just bashes Sai unconscious immediately. Good. Gajeel wasn't having any of that shit. He didn't, because I was like, if Sai, I'm glad that was fast. Okay, I want to talk about this scene really quick because I liked how this transitioned. I liked that it happened, but I liked that it was resolved quick. I liked that Sai, since he was up, he did something. It made sense for Sai to do something. But I didn't want Sai to persist. Because Gajeel, like, Gray switching with Juvia against some fodder guy has a much better chance of Gajeel switching with Levi against somebody who is already beating him. But with Sai, him getting pissed and just going right for him and just smashing him, taking him out fast and canceling this out, thank you. Because, one, I didn't need this plot point on top of whatever else is going on for Gajeel to have to deal with. And this is just getting more set. So he's got the core. He smashed it. He smashed it. So is he going to have his part? Or is it just going to be more of him achieving the mission? Natsu, okay, and then at the end of the chapter ends with Natsu getting a good punch on Dogremag. Okay. So it's like, did they get all the cores? Okay, I think this was the last one, I'm guessing. So, what are we going to have? God Serena and Gajeel versus... God Serena versus Gajeel, and then Dogremag with Natsu and stuff right now? Because the God Serena stuff is the part I'm kind of unsure about. Because, like, you don't see him again after he says something to... He says something to Sai, and then you don't see him again. He uses the cavern dragon move, and then he just kind of like says something to Sai, and then you don't see him again, I think, through the chapter. Because you get Gajeel and the Levi body attacking Sai real quick, knocking him out while getting the core and smashing it. And then that's the last time you see anything of that area. I want to know what attack Gajeel did when he attacked... when he attacked him, because it's like it's not an Iron Dragon move. It looks like he's just doing some shadow moves, and you can see the Shadow Dragon Slayer like design around his eye while he's doing it, and the shaded blade looks really sick. Curious what will happen with Kyria. I think Kyria will just be in a good like allied spot with the guild. I don't think it's gonna be anything too much other than that. Let me see something real fast. I want to see if any of the pages are any of the leaks are on there yet, so I can see some of the context, see what someone's going. So this seems fine. But it seemed more like it was more like a setup chapter, doing some stuff, just kind of like setting up for the next chapter rather. My question is going to be with God Serena, like, because Mishima gave Gajeel a cool part, but is like God Serena just gonna? Did he leave, or did he like just vanish? Is he gonna fight Gajeel now? I think that would be pretty hopeful and pretty hype. We have like get back to the Dogremag stuff, set up that, then get back to Gajeel. Gajeel ends up fighting God Serena for like the part before we get to the Dogremag for the climax of the arc. I figured we'd get Gajeel something in this chapter, but I mean, I'm not mad at it. I did say that I was really hoping for a chapter plus more of the fight. This wasn't really the fight, but I mean, it had to do with context to the events of the fight, and it had a couple bits in there where we did see some moves, so I'm pretty happy about that. where it looks like we did get an ability new ability each from Gajeel and God Serena. Because I think Gajeel's move was definitely new. Because like every time I remember him coming out of his shadow like that, he's using his Iron Dragon club. I can't remember if he has at least off the top of my head, I don't remember if he's used this alt version. But you have a comment on it from there's a comment on it from Panther Lake, so it's like I'm trying to think as far as I know it. Is it a new one? I can't really know off the top of my head just without getting like a translation. Like if it's one of the ones that like he has used before, and I hear the attack, I'm like, oh, I might remember. If it's like, oh no, but let's see if I can get a translation for this. 1 second. I think he's just saying something like an Iron Slash, or like Mr. Iron Slash or something. I think he's making fun of him. Let me see. Let me look at some more of these really fast. So I think he's talking shit to God Serena is the thing. I don't think it's a move, but it looks like one. He's like not even using he's using like a shadow blade. Let me pick some of these really fast. Ooh, hang on. Celine panel. We'll go to the Celine panel really fast. And then we'll look at... did God Serena show any other moves? Because he used that one where it blocked his skin. I don't know if it... Okay, I don't think that's an ability. I think that's just something in his defense. Cool, though. I like that he has that. Let's see. So yeah, I think this was the last Dogra core. Okay, yeah, this is the last one. So Dogra Mag should be normal unit. And the thing is like that I thought was really funny is people are saying that it's like, oh, they're gonna beat Dogra Mag nerfed. This isn't Dogra Mag nerfed. What we were seeing before was Dogra Mag buffed. This should be Dogra Mag's normal strength. Because we know that Dogra Mag was the weakest dragon god. He died 100 years before the current story. So he is a century plus behind the other dragon gods. And because of that, there's the fact that he has this whole setup to make himself pretty much indestructible. And in doing so, he's able to kind of cheat that gap. Now that cheat is out of the way. That kind of prep that he had is gone. So now he's going to be at his normal strength. And I think that's why we're going to be hopefully getting to the dragon form. We didn't get any like crazy cool panels to this chapter, I don't think. Let me go back and skim through it. I was like, in my mind, I was picturing some really cool Gajeel double spread page, but it was more of a setup chapter, and it looks like it was like more so than the chapter where we had that bit between Gray and Celine, but it felt a little bit like that, but obviously it had some more action in it too. I really want to get the full kind of just general dialogue for Gajeel, and then the stuff with Kiri I thought was really cool. I don't think Kiri is going to join the guild. I think she'll be fine with Diablos. I think Diablos will just become allies of the Fairy Tail Guild. Yeah, she's next to Lucy. I was hoping really bad that they were going to group up and then go out in like little units. The chapter was mad. I don't think the chapter was mad. I think it was mad. I think it was fine. I think it was good, not great. I think it was good plus is where I would say. It was a good plus chapter. It just wasn't like a crazy chapter. But it was done more for setup. I will say what Mishima does with God Serena from here is important. Unless like he just left. I don't think he left. Let me go actually really quick to see if that page is if I can find that page. Yeah, I just want to know what God Serena says. I don't think he left or anything. But I know that we just didn't see him after this, like after he attacked and then said something. Okay, he says, I'll leave the rest of you, but like, does he leave? Because we don't see it, and it's like, it's very short. Because it's like he says, oh yeah, I'll leave the rest of you. Sai uses Love Bond. Then Gaja gets pissed. Solid Script Iron hits him unconscious. Like, unless God Serena just outright left. If Mishima wants to essentially set up an opponent for Gajeel for later, I'm fine with that as long as we have a scene between now and then where we have like a Gajeel reflection where it's just like oh yeah, I'm not gonna let that guy disrespect me, and like imagine if it's like instead of it having to do with Levi, it has to do with like how this guy insulted his Iron Dragon slang magic, and instead of it being like, oh yeah, this guy talked shit to me, Gajeel takes it as an insult towards Metallicana. So it's like an insult towards his father, and you work that into Gajeel doing something in like honor of his dad before he becomes a dad. That, I think, high potential. We'll see what Mishima has planned. If God Serena just straight left, Mishima has to do that. We can't have another part where it's like, is Gray ever gonna fight Scullion again? If Gajeel doesn't fight God Serena again and get the win, that's bad. If this is where it goes, I think this is like right now, if God Serena doesn't fight Gajeel again in this arc, I think this was a good compromise of like the in between of the people who wanted Gajeel just to get shredded and just get wrecked and then lose and not come back and win, because he didn't like just like straight, oh yeah, I lost, there's nothing to do. It's like he could still somewhat fight, but it's clear that he was the under person in that match. I will say, like, if the leaving is the only way that I think kind of really saves the idea of God Serena beating Gajeel in this, because Gajeel still accomplished the mission. He lost the fight, but he accomplished the mission. And on top of that, you now don't have the problem of the hype going to God Serena being wasted, because we know that he isn't like the match of the arc. So it's like, well, hyping up this character doesn't really do that much when we know where like the actual hype is of the arc. It doesn't really do anything to like make God Serena in general look more powerful, to be like, oh yeah, there's a powerful enemy in this arc, when we have Dogromag already active, and we know Dogromag is well above God Serena by far. So with Gajeel, I think it works really well as long as it's like a setup for him to get like the counter revenge. We're reading the chapter. It's the Manga Poke. It's the app. You have to download it from like the Japanese app store. So I think that's fine. I really wanted Gajeel to have the win here, but I think the way that it's like he still was able to get the mission done, and we don't have God Serena as like a piece on this arc's board currently, I would assume, then we're good. I think also it's like he has to have some teleport ability then if he left that fast, unless he just kind of up and flew out of there. But it's like I feel like he'd be able to sense his magic unless he like straight teleported. So yeah, I think with this chapter, again, I say good plus. I maybe a little bit higher, good plus depending on how the dialogue is gonna go. And I like where Mishima has this bit potentially going. I like where this potentially it looks like it's gonna be headed towards with Gajeel and God Serena. Because if it can go towards something that does a nice cool step for Gajeel, gets him an upgrade, does some stuff for him, that'll be great. Maybe the Viernes arc is next arc, and it is gonna be like his opponent in that bit, and we have like the connection Viernes to Goldal. God Serena's there. We have Gajeel wanting to get that revenge. I think that'd be really cool. So I think I'm trying to think of like how the clash will go with Viernes, because if they have Celine on their side, because like Celine before they go to Viernes, they can let Celine get fully healed back up, go to Viernes. The Signario sisters, let's just assume they're Dark Dragon Cyanite level. Let's assume that's two of them, and then God Serena is like a solid Spriggan level. So that's like three fair people, but it's like I'm trying to think of like how they would keep off pretty much all of Fairy Tail and Diablos, because I'm gonna make an assumption. This is just an assumption right now, that by the time we get there, Fairy Tail and Diablos will be on good terms, and it's very likely that they could ally together, especially with Celine being involved, and go and do stuff against Viernes. So that just makes me think like he's gonna have to have other like big things, maybe some dragons on his side. But anyway, other than that, comment below. Tell me your thoughts about this chapter. I thought it was, like I said, I thought it was fine. I was hoping more for a fight chapter, but I like where it seems to be going because it's a vibe that's a better payout than how Gray versus Psy went, but it has a similar vibe where it feels like it's set up for stuff to come. And we're just getting like a fight with them until then, and we're pretty much just going to get the Dogromag fight. I was really hoping for Gajeel to get a really big fight in this arc. If not, then what will save this arc, from where I'm at right now, like, again, like an 8.5 to 9. What could upgrade it, push it up to like a 9.5 or higher, will depend on how the Dogromag fight goes. If that's the only like real big fight and big event left, then it's going to really depend around that. So we're going to have to see, one, what Mishima has planned in the next chapter. If we're not going to have any other fights besides this one, what's Dogromag's response going to be, and what are the characters' responses going to be whenever he decides to make an action. Considering for another level, he's not even trying. I don't know about another level. It's just Gajeel, he just has a way. He has the damage and the counter against Gajeel. I don't think that he's beyond Gajeel's tier, because it's clear Gajeel can mess with him speed-wise. It's just that God Serena has the counters and he has the damage. So I don't think that he's even that much more powerful than Gajeel. I think he just has way more to work with, and Gajeel just doesn't really have anything to make up for it. He doesn't have anything to be like, oh yeah, these aren't working, I'll use this then. Because it's like, oh yeah, he's got Iron and he's got Shadow. Shadow countered by Light. Iron is being countered by Diamond. And then he's got stuff like Wind and Lightning and Fire and Water to mess with them too. So it puts him in a weird spot to where it's an opponent that it's not like he's fighting Acnologi or something, kind of like how it's just like he can just blitz and one-shot him, or he can just kind of just manhandle him at all fronts. It's very clear that Gajeel can keep up with him speed-wise. He can take some of the hits, but it's just that counter aspect and like how many things God Serena has that's so much trouble for him. Next chapter, by God Serena Nuts and you manage to use power up. Well, I think. Well, no. Here's my thing, because Dogromag. I'm assuming Dogromag is in his normal power, his normal state. His human form, yes, his human form should be weaker than Celine's human form by unknown amounts, but a good chunk. Whereas Natsu and Suzaku, we know, are above human form Celine, so they should be above human form Dogromag. Whereas Dragon Dogromag is going to be the factor in the question on how he's going to perform. But anyway, other than that, though, well, I'll talk to you guys later. What we're going to do is I'll do the chapter review when the fan translations come out. And then we'll do a general stream talking about the chapter and other chapters going on, other chapters that have happened with Shonen Jump, Shonen Magazine, and whatnot. On probably tomorrow on Wednesday, and we'll play through more Blade Assault.